This man is in the television show Heart of Dixie, airing Fridays, 9 p.m. Eastern Time on the CW. The fourth season returns Friday, January 9th at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. He is Tim Matheson. Good to see you, Tim.
Great to be here, Rich. Thank you. Good to see you.
You bet. I don't even know where to start with you because I've been such a huge fan of yours for so long. And the movies that you have been are so iconic films that you have been in. And the one that leads our poll question right now, if you don't mind us, give us the update on the poll question, Chris Brockman. Give it to me.
59%. What's the best college comedy movie of all time? Animal House, Running Away with It.
Running Away with It.
Nice. It was the best comedy script I'd ever seen. I had never done a comedy before that. You know, I was at a point in my career that I was just bored with kind of the stuff I've been playing, like the nice guy and the guy next door, and it was like, and Westerns, I'd done a lot of Westerns. And then I started doing improv comedy, and I got an audition, and I got this part, and it was like, it just opened up so much for me in my career, but it was also the best comedy script I'd ever seen, I think that's a testament to why it holds up as well as it does.
We had Ivan Reitman on the podcast, the NFL media podcast that this show was born out of, because he was the director of Draft Day, and we were talking about it. He said the same thing, that it was the best comedy script he had ever seen.
Ivan's really smart, you know, he's really, and Canadian, and really smart. Not that they're in opposition.
They're not mutually exclusive.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So, and he produced that and then became a director after that with Stripes and Meatballs and, you know, and all his great films.
Sure.
So he had a lot to do with that, developing that script.
Right, and clearly, Tim, you know, Belushi, is that the most asked question you get about that film, is what was working like with Belushi on the set?
Yes, and what was it like being in the backseat with the girl who was topless? Those are the two. The two.
Well, I mean, that would normally be just in any situation if you are in that situation.
Absolutely.
Right. I guess the same thing with being with Belushi too, which was my way of asking that question without trying to be completely, I guess, part of the crowd. But
you were coming in sideways.
I was doing that.
Yeah.
What was it like with Belushi on the set?
John was, you know what, he was one of the funniest, most spontaneous, talented people I've ever worked with. And he was very generous and gracious to me, too. I was very nervous because it was my first comedy, and he was very supportive and always there for me and always encouraging me. And we became pretty close friends. I visited him in New York many times, and he was always out here in L.A. And sad ending because, you know,
sure.
You know, it was so stupid, but he was great. He was so great.
Yeah, and you also worked with Chris Farley as well, years later in Black Sheep. Tim Matheson right here in the Rich Eisen show. What about Fletch? Fletch is also such an iconic film. Did you know at the time that would be placed in a similar pantheon of these other films that we're talking about?
I didn't think Fletch, I mean, I at the time, Animal House, we sort of thought, well, this could really break and be like a big picture. Fletch was like, Chevy was, you know, we weren't sure, and it was a brilliant director, Michael Ritchie, and it just went together well, and I don't think Chevy's ever been better, except for the vacation movies.
Right,
He's Clark Griswold.
Yeah, we were talking about that too. Let's talk about Heart of Dixie now, here on the CW, fourth season of this. How would you describe this show, Tim?
Heart of Dixie is sort of if we remember the Mayberry show with Andy Griffith, the Andy Griffith show, it's sort of Mayberry with a lot of sex. You know, it's
Wait a minute, you're saying there was no sex in Mayberry?
It was all off stage.
Oh,
it was kind of, as you saw from the clip, you know, we bring it on stage.
Oh, yeah.
Up to a limit, you know, because I think the audience has sort of grown sophisticated enough to handle it.
So this is the one where Aunt B unbuttons a couple from the top.
You're into Aunt B, I guess.
Well, you know, I'm a red-blooded male, Tim.
That's right.
Go sue me.
She was hot.
Go sue me.
She was hot.
Yeah. Well, I'd rather go there than, you know, Don Knotts. You know
Do
what I
you
mean?
need any help around the set, Tim?
These guys want to, you know, we
Always.
Do you need a stand-in? Do you need me to get coffee or lunch?
You know what?
I'm not busy enough here,
Rachel
so I just want to
Bilson,
help you
I
out.
can tell. I mean, you guys. No, you should come on down. We're over at Warner Brothers, and we always need tech advisors on the sex scenes. Any kind of input we can get.
Contortion. I can get you guys into certain positions.
All right, now wait a minute. This is not the choreography. He's talking about just getting coffee.
Oh,
I mean, like, you're not going to just jump in with Jamie Presley. You know, I mean, is that?
Well, maybe they do things differently in the South, Rich.
Tim, help me out here, man. This is not an actual opening in position at your show.
No, but we would love to have you guys visit as guests and to contribute whatever, you know.
And have to stay within 100 yards removed from the set.
Oh,
We'll get a restraining order.
We can get that sort of
The
thing.
thing I found amazing about the show is that Jason Street can walk in it.
Yeah.
QB1.
QB1 from Scott Porter from Friday Night Lights.
Scott Porter knows more about sports. Has he been on your show?
He is not yet.
You should
but
have
he's been
him.
on.
He is so smart.
We've had him on some shows up at NFL Network, though.
Yeah.
He's a huge Broncos fan.
And he's a great player. You know, he injured himself once on our game. He'd play, I guess, after the Super Bowl. There's a celebrity game or something.
Yeah.
Before, and I think he broke his ankle.
Oh, he plays in the DirecTV Beach Bowl.
Yeah, he does.
That's what it is. That's where he got hurt.
He did get.
Yeah.
Man, Scott Porter he's just got to stay away from the
Stay away
gridiron.
stay away from the gridiron.
Good thing, at least, you know. I mean, it's something that he could recover from. I also want to mention this too. You will be serving as the master of ceremonies for the annual National Down Syndrome Society Gala in New York City on Thursday, January 29th.
Yes.
Coming up, and that I imagine will be quite a night for you.
It's a real honor for me, and just to be part of that. I've gotten involved with them. They've been very supportive to me in a project I have that involves a couple of actors with Down syndrome, and they have educated me and helped me gain an insight into the issues that Down syndrome actors have, and so I just want to be able to give back to them and help raise money for them and be a part of their organization.
Down there in New York City,
right,
as well. That's the Thursday. That's the Thursday of Super Bowl week.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll be in Arizona that night.
Wow.
Do you have a Super Bowl prediction? Do you think of any team that you think that might go ahead and take this thing? Do you think?
You know, I've basically been so ignorant about football this season. And
no, but I know you're take a look at the Broncos and you see Peyton Manning. I know you're a fan of the storylines, that I know.
Yes. I like Aaron Rodgers so much. I think Manning, I think, is the sort of, there's like a Cinderella story there because everybody's ragging on him, and
they do.
You know, it's like, oh, it's over for him, it's over, and so that's a Cinderella story I'd love to see come true. But I just love Aaron Rodgers. I think he's a blue collar guy. He works really hard. He plays in Green Bay.
Yeah.
And it's the toughest. It's that and Pittsburgh, I think, are the two toughest places to play, and it's like. So he's kind of like my personal favorite. That's where I'm at now.
Yeah, and he is just he's a guy who sat behind Brett Favre all those years, and nobody really thought that he could be better than Favre.
Yeah.
And he's already surpassing so many of these records and can surpass him in number of Super Bowl wins if he wins one more.
That's right. That's right.
You know?
So I got my fingers crossed there. So
there you go. So the Heart of Dixie airs Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time on the CW. I appreciate you coming on here,
Rich,
Tim Matheson.
my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Please come back. Like I said, a huge fan of your work, and I look forward to having you back here as well.
Thank you.
You bet. Tim Matheson, Dr. Brick Breland. Great name.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.